fight from within. You're about to go behind enemy lines.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage. Over.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo. And you are now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli here with you. So glad you could join us this week for a really big show. Whether you're listening at www.behindenemylinesradio.us, or if you're checking us out on the AM radio, FM radio, or internet radio dials, or if we're traveling along with you as a podcast. However you're listening, you've picked a great show to tune into this week. We have on the show, I can't believe I'm saying it, Kevin and Sam Sorbo. Got them both at the same time, talking about their new film, Let There Be Light. It's going to be great, and especially in the context of what we've been seeing in the news this week, especially the Emmy Awards. Oh my goodness. Can we... Listen, I know that there's been a lot of serious news this week. News like, Paul Manafort actually being wiretapped in Trump Tower, just like the president said that Trump Tower was tapped, and just like we've said on the show that the president had some basis for thinking that, and that gets leaked out. Oh, what a concept. Or the fact that Bob Mueller is now looking towards possibly indicting Paul Manafort and him being the scapegoat of this whole thing. Oh, what a concept. Didn't we talk about scapegoating a couple weeks back as well? President Trump's UN speech, missile flyovers in North Korea, and a lot of heavy stuff. But I think this is a good week to really give a good juxtaposition. There's a $5 word for everybody out there. To check out the state of Hollywood and the culture war that they're perpetrating on America, and to juxtapose that to what Kevin and Sam Sorbo have been doing in building sort of an answer to that. Let's get deep into it right now. For those of you who, probably like most of America, didn't tune into the Emmys, let's just say that the biggest star of the night wasn't exactly the stars that were being nominated.
Who are you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black.
Oh wait, that's the wrong clip. I thought that Hollywood is supposed to be tolerant and diverse and believe in, all people matter and all this. My fault. Here's the real clip.
Of course, there's no way anyone could possibly watch that much TV other than the president. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to the tweets. We know that the biggest TV star of the last year is Donald Trump. And however you feel about the president, and you do feel about the president, you can't deny that every show was influenced by Donald Trump in some way. And we all know the Emmys mean a lot to Donald Trump. And by the way, that dinging that you're hearing, Washington Free Beacon, who does this great series called Supercuts, put in a ding every time a reference was made to Donald Trump, the election, politics, etc. So they put that in to signal to everybody when there was a mention during the Emmys. Because again, you guys didn't watch it. I know a lot of you didn't watch it. A lot of America didn't watch it, and we'll get to that in a second. But let the dinging continue. That Seth Meyers is hosting the Emmy Awards. Even during the campaign, Trump would not let it go. What really matters to Donald Trump is ratings.
This will be the largest audience to witness
and Emmys.
At long last, Mr. President, here is your Emmy. All you men out there, you put that orange wig on, it's birth control, trust me.
Why didn't you give him an Emmy? I thought you people loved morally compromised anti-heroes. He's just Walter much whiter.
Spoiler alert, the 47th President of the United States.
She'd be great. She doesn't tweet.
We did have a whole storyline about an impeachment, but we abandoned that because we were worried that someone else might get to it first.
I want to thank Trump for making black people #1 on the most oppressed list.
In other words, the president's worst nightmare.
Because unlike the presidency, Emmys go to the winner of the popular vote.
And in 2017, we still refuse to be controlled by a sexist...
Oh, that thing you say about Trump being bad. Oh.
Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
Every day since November 8th.
I want to say thank you to Hillary Clinton for your grace and grit.
His role in Wizard of Lies, which I believe was the Sean Spicer story.
Things are kind of crazy out there right now.
The way the world is right now, it's easy to think their job's easier. I've heard 2017 described as being trapped.
A way for us to escape the madness of world events.
In these crazy times,
there would never be another season as crazy.
Go home, get to work. We have a lot of things to fight for. Good night.
Oh, yeah. Aren't we better? Aren't we smarter? Aren't we classier? Aren't we just the bee's knees? Aren't we just so pithy and so smart and so above it all? And we're just... Oh my goodness, could they be more self-aggrandizing? Could they be more arrogant and audacious? Could they be more insulting to people? You know, non-Hollywood people. The little people, as I like to call us. Could they be more insulting? This is a party that they created for themselves to award themselves for doing such a good job of pretending to be somebody else who is not one of them, who is actually probably one of those little people, or who decided to make a parody and make a mockery and make a joke out of, you know, whomever. And don't get me wrong, I love being entertained. I love a good joke. I love good parody. We do parodies on the show here. I get it. You know, different shows for different folks, but like I said, the audaciousness of the echo chamber here, in that everyone seems to think in lockstep, I don't think that that's a good setting to create art, or is a good way for creativity to flourish, or to celebrate everyone being in the same lockstep, in the same mind. I would think it would have to have been very uncomfortable for a Trump supporter to be in the room. I mean, we can ask Sean Spicer that later, I guess. Although, you know, as long as he was making fun of his former boss, it was okay, because you're going along with the crowd, you're going with the flow. Look how diverse we are. We let Sean Spicer in. Although there were some on the left who were saying, don't make this guy funny. Don't, you know, normalize him, quote unquote, and all this other stuff. But Hollywood didn't learn their lesson, did they? They thought that they were above it all. They thought that they could tell you what to do, what to think, who to vote for, and all this other stuff. But they still don't get it. They don't get that President Trump won. They don't get that Hillary Clinton lost. In their world, Hillary Clinton still won. I mean, in Hillary Clinton's world, Hillary Clinton won. We can talk about the book tour again if you want, but, what happened? Folks, here's what I'm taking from this whole thing. Hollywood hasn't learned, and the biggest star of the night was Donald Trump. Donald Trump influenced an entire year's worth of art. Donald Trump has lived in the headspace of Hollywood for over a year now. And even more so since he took the oath of office. I mean, even before he became president, Donald Trump controlled the narrative. Donald Trump controlled the reactions. Everyone was reacting to Trump. Trump wasn't reacting to Hollywood. Hollywood got in a tizzy because Trump beat them and beat what they stood for. This elitist, superior mentality that because they are so-called creative, so-called better, smarter, more intelligent, live in better places, and more tolerant, and clearly not as close-minded as those flyover country, middle America, white, oppressive, supremacist people. They think they're better than you listening right now. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you're Republican, Democrat. They think they're better than you. They think they're more creative than you. But the thing of it all is, all their creations, first of all, is all in lockstep right now. And it's all reactionary to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was given more free advertising on that show than anyone else. But in all honesty, did he really get that advertising? Probably not. Because when you look at the ratings for the Emmy Awards, you would find, to my shock and dismay, that a little over 11 million people watched. It was only up about 100,000 after you adjust all the numbers and whatever Nielsen does to do ratings and whatnot. They were up 100,000 from a record low last year. They went from 11.6 to 11.7. Way to capture the hearts and minds, Hollywood. Great job. Maybe the reason why is because people are getting tired of tuning in to a bunch of glad-handing, backslapping, self-promoting people whose only contribution to society is imitating other people and then congratulating themselves for how well they imitated them by stepping into the shoes of someone else's life. Not actually living their own life, yet telling you how to live yours. That's what's being celebrated at these award shows. I don't get it. I'm not a fan of these shows, and listen, I understand that they have their place. I understand that parody has its place. I have no problem with people making fun of Donald Trump. He's got weird hair. He talks pretty funny. His mannerisms can be amusing. I get it. Some people find that funny. Some people don't. I tend to find certain things funny. But what I'm seeing is not really funny. I see a malicious intent, a malicious motivation to not just entertain, but to give a pointed message of resistance. To give a pointed message that this is wrong, so wrong. And I can understand art can move mountains. I get it. But art comes from artists who are free thinkers. I'm not seeing free thinking here. I'm seeing groupthink. I'm seeing everyone open your mind and think exactly like the collective. There's no celebration of individual art. Art can be edgy. Art can be controversial. I mean, look at Sabo, the street artist from Los Angeles. That's edgy. That's counterintuitive to the hive mentality in that area. That's art. Art can be thought-provoking. Art isn't the mainstream. Art isn't Big Brother. Art doesn't... It's really not supposed to work that way, folks. But I get it. Hollywood has a vested interest in making sure that individuals are kept down in a way. And follow me on this one, because this might take a little bit. Everyone in Hollywood is pretty much hitting the same one note. If you start promoting individual thinking and individual creativity, you're going to end up with some new type of Hollywood people, possibly. Who knows? You're going to step away from the formulaic aspect of Hollywood. Look no further to what conservatives are doing right now. And we're going to talk to Kevin and Sam Sorbo what they're doing and how they're using their medium to reach and give their message. There's nothing wrong with media with a message. I'm not against that. I'm against this almost coercive and forced culturalization that Hollywood seems to generate and then celebrate with award shows that they just hand out to each other. Yeah, here's an award for you. You wrote well. You played that real person so well, actor. Here's a trophy. I think Jerry Seinfeld may have had a skit about this. He played Bob Johnson. He was just like him. You get what I'm saying, folks? And the fact that now Donald Trump is renting headspace in Hollywood, and will probably continue to do so for the near future.